Welcome, everybody, to an exciting presentation interview with my friend, Betsy Sabbatini, who God knows where she is in the country at this point, because I know she flies all over the country, but she will be flying to Myrtle Beach or driving at our annual REEA conference at the end of July, beginning of August. Betsy, where are you and how are you doing these days?
Hi, Rob. Right now, I'm in the middle of the country. I do split my time between the East Coast and then the Midwest here in Kansas City, and then my love, which is Arizona. So a few times a year, usually in the winter, I get to spend a few weeks in Arizona, and then my family is my parents, that is, are still living in New Jersey. So I travel there to peek in on them and take care of them. So I'm living the life of a traveler, and I love the flexibility and the fact that I can, which I think we're going to get into, the fact that I can uh, generate income and run my business wherever I am. Mhm.
Which is just awesome to hear, right? That you actually get to live and work in literally all four time zones, depending on the time of the year that Arizona is in. But this is really kind of a new stage of life for you. I remember when we met in Las Vegas, you were talking about a
Yeah.
time of transition. I was in that time of transition. I mean, you're really heading in a direction that you might not have thought was available to you 5, 6 years ago.
That's very true. More than 5 years ago, prior to 2020, I was leading my business, but out of a brick and mortar office space in northern New Jersey. And look, I love technology and I love teaching it to people. So I've always done that for almost 37 years. So it's what I've always done. And so that hasn't changed. However, the what I had come to realize was that the way I was running my business, it really hit a ceiling. There wasn't any place really to go growth wise. And I was burning myself out working so many hours of the day, working very hard and not really seeing the growth and the income from it. So yes, you and I met probably right after the surge of my learning how to transition from teaching one person at a time, or maybe no more than 10, in a classroom, to teaching many and learning how to do that. So, and it all started when the world shut down abruptly in 2020. And that's actually how I came to know REEA as well. Mhm.
So I'd have to imagine COVID, right? It's making a lot of us kind of crap our pants and figure out what's next. And here you are, this technology expert that's not just a technology expert, but an expert in communicating virtually with people. I mean, you just had to see a blue ocean at that point, I'd imagine, to go out and make the world your own.
Yes, you're giving me chills right now, actually, thinking about the people I met first, right when the world shut down. The first people I met were REIA members. They're members of the executive committee, members of the board who were in great need to keep the doors to their businesses open. And everybody who was teaching in person needed to learn how to teach in this space, in a virtual space. And yes, because my secret sauce, so to speak, is not only being technical. I'm a great troubleshooter and I have a great technical background. However, I know how to explain it so that people can understand it and then be empowered to take it with them and do what they need. And I did that for many people in 2020. And yeah, it was one of those when you're at the right place at the right time. It's that divine timing that brings certain people together. And that's what happened. And I'm so grateful for it.
So I have to imagine in that particular moment where a ton of people are not just looking for technology, they're looking for surety. They're looking for I don't want to say emotional validation, but they want to see somebody look at them and say, we're going to be okay. I mean, I
Right.
oftentimes find that those are the moments of greatness that we stand up to, right? Because we also need that. I mean, is that really kind of the core of that experience with REEA that you had at that time that's now transitioned into 2025 where everybody knows you have a question about Zoom, you talk to Betsy.
You are correct. I have built in my own business a level of expertise that surpasses everything I knew in 2019, or we could say in February of 2020,
Hmm.
because it literally was, or we could probably bring it down to like March 18th, 2020, right? It was like the next day, everything changed, and everything changed for so many people. But yes, my ability to say everything's going to be okay and you're able to do this, I know that for sure. It became the anthem,
Hmm.
and word spread very quickly that I would be the person to not only explain it to you, show you how, but I literally can do hands-on training through this space. So you and I are not in the same physical space right now, but if you had an issue with your computer, your equipment, your microphone, your camera, your lighting, I discovered a way to get myself there as close as possible without, crawling through the screen, if I could say that. So not only making people feel comfortable and confident, but then also showing them that they already have the goods to do this. Many people, first of all, are afraid of tech. Uh, they don't consider themselves tech savvy, and and this just blew their mind because
Hmm.
now they have decades of experience in real estate, possibly not only in real estate but in teaching real estate to others. And now all of a sudden, this computer screen with menus was the hurdle in between doing what I call their genius, and getting that out to their students who were also waiting, people wanting to get their license, keep their
Hmm.
license, and every state, had to come up with a solution, which they did. And yes, I became the the vehicle for many, and
Hmm.
I'm very proud of that. And it started spreading beyond real estate, so to a global audience. So what I tell people is you just never know. The sky is the limit or may not be the limit.
Hmm.
Um, so yes, that's actually uh how I became to be known as the Zoom expert,
Hmm.
or as REEA calls me, the Zoom diva.
Yes. But you're not really a diva, though. I mean, we know
I'm not.
divas. I mean, diva is not the term that I think of
I'm not.
when I
No.
think of Betsy. I'm more of a diva than you are, to be perfectly honest with you.
All right, I'm going to give you that label. You're more of a diva. No, I'm not. I actually asked my audience this question yesterday. Of course, we were all on Zoom, and I said, how do you refer to me when you mention me to other people who are telling you that they're struggling and they're trying to use Zoom because it is the most well used, popular, most used video conferencing platform, which I tell people is now your business communication platform. I said, how do you describe me to people who you should send to me? And yes, for the most part, I get Zoom expert, I get Zoom guru, Zoom
Hmm.
diva, Zoom master. Like, okay, but no, I'm not very much a diva. I
No,
am
not.
I'm the one to guide you for sure, but
Mhm.
I'm extremely patient as well. So
So, taking all of that, fast forward to 2025, we hear about constantly that the REIA conference is about so much more than just learning about technology or now AI. We have a couple of people talking about AI specifically, but it's so much more than that. It's about the human experience that we have in the real estate industry. How have you found these opportunities creating a richer, more vibrant, more dynamic experience for you personally when you show up to the conference and everybody knows you're an expert, but more importantly, everybody knows that you're a good person that's an expert.
Hmm. Hmm. The REEA conferences are very, is what I say, brings together the best of the best. And this coming conference, 2025, will be my sixth conference. So if we count 2020, I think I counted that correctly,
Mhm.
2020 was virtual. And then each year thereafter, I I was selected to be a speaker. So this is actually my sixth time in a row. And each time, yes, I'm brought to the stage to speak on my expertise about Zoom. And what I find is that I usually have some knowledge about a new feature, a feature that's been there that people don't know about. And I always say, the secret is in what you don't know, you don't know. Like, how would you even know to
Mhm.
ask me about that feature if you didn't even know it was there? You could be curious and say, hey, Betsy, I want to be able to teach my class on Zoom, and then I want to repurpose that content. Is there a way to do that? So if someone were to ask me that out of curiosity, I would say most definitely. And that
Mhm.
is really where Zoom is soaring right now in new features, is in the area of taking your recordings and repurposing them, taking all of your words through a transcript and creating multiple documents out of it. You can actually create a
Mhm.
meeting summary and repurpose that into a handout, a guide, a checklist, uh, in the use of AI. So I would say, yes, the tech leads us through these conferences to make it very enriching, but the not only the speakers, but those who participate, and their curiosity and their love of real estate and teaching that to others makes these conferences one of my favorite to attend and speak at.
So obviously you're a presenter. You're speaking as an expert. Without giving too much of the secret sauce away, what's that one nugget you want to tease people with that says, come see me, the Zoom diva, talk about your technology in your classroom?
Yes, the one nugget is that this is not the Zoom of 2020. It that Zoom is gone. This Zoom is very different. And what I'm going to share with you in my session will show you how to use this Zoom as a business communication platform. It's not just for video conferencing where you click that link, as I say, if you can find the link, and sit here maybe, off video or muted, or teaching people who are on video because they have to be, but there is zero engagement. It's not just for that. It is an engine now, and it has these features built in using AI so that you can repurpose and automate your content, which is a huge part of your business. When you think
Mhm.
about teaching online and teaching through Zoom, teaching classes through Zoom is what your expertise is when you teach real estate. So I would say, without giving it away, you got to come see me in my session to see how is Zoom doing this. That's what I'm going to share with all of you.
Look, anybody that wants to understand how to master their real estate practice, grow their real estate business, just understand the dynamics of technology and how it is that you can become a better person to connect with the world. You want to be a Betsy session. And the only way that you can do that is by registering at reaconference.com. Early bird rates are going until June 1st. So you have a tremendous amount of time, but you don't want to wait because it'll creep up on you. And to be perfectly honest with you, the more people that register, the bigger Betsy's class is going to be. And I can tell you from the first session I went to, or the first conference I went to, Betsy's class was packed out, which I think speaks more to who you are, Betsy, than it does to what it is that you know, because you just truly invest in people. You truly pour into them what they can use of your expertise. So thanks for taking a few moments today to connect with us. Tell us a little bit about your story in life and how the REEA conference will be better for it.
Thank you so much, Rob, for having me. I can't wait to see everybody there at Myrtle Beach. I'm excited.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, remember, reaconference.com, early bird rates to June 1st, and we'll see you there at the conference.